I'm so sorry that's happening. So, do you mind if I take some notes just so I can keep in, okay, great, just so I can keep in line everything that's happening. All right, so you said that you have a former supervisor who you guys are now kind of equals now, and there's still some tension from when she was your supervisor. Is she still treating you like you are one of her employees?
Yeah, and I think it's hard too because still a student, and to be in a role where I also supervise students, but she's a full-time staff member and she supervises students. I think I understand that territory which you walk into, but it's still frustrating because I'm trying to do my job. I am young, I am whatever, but I'm still trying to do my job and figure things out.
Yeah, I get that. That does seem very difficult. Do you have any concrete examples for me?
Well, I guess for example, I had told my students to do something. I'd asked them to finish this project so that it could be done, and we could meet a deadline. And then I came in the other day and I walked by, and she was by them and talking to them. And after she left, I asked them what she had said to them, and she told them the complete opposite of what I had been trying to tell them to do. And sort of, I guess, was giving them advice on how to complete the task, but to me it was totally going under what I was, what I had told them to do, and she gave them a whole nother way to do it. Not that it wasn't efficient, not that it wasn't effective, but it wasn't what I told them to do. So it's things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, have you talked to this person before?
We talked for a while, and then just with many things, I think I just sort of began to ignore things, and we just stopped talking to one another because it brought up a lot of frustration and stress for me, and being able to help my students, but it's caused a lot of stress and anxiety, more than I think it should, and I think more than people see, because I try to keep it in as much as possible, but she does, the situation does evoke a lot of emotion.
Yeah,
and
understandably,
feelings.
understandably. So do you mind if at another point I talk to this person about what you said and try to get her perspective?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you want to do in the meantime? How can I help you in the meantime? Do you want to come up with some strategies on how to work with her, or some ways to communicate, or what do you want to?
I guess all of the above. I think I just have I have the struggle, I think, being able to relate with her. I've tried, I know that everyone's different, but one of my biggest goals as a person, just something I strive for, is to be able to connect to people. And find our differences and find what makes us unique. But with her, it has been extremely difficult to do that. And I think it's just A, trying to connect with her, B, then trying to communicate with her, my frustrations and how I would like to be treated, especially that I'm no longer her student, and she's no longer my supervisor. I get that we all work together, but at a certain point, I'm not hers anymore. And so I report to you, so she needs to be able to respect that as well. And I think, and then being able to define what our goals are together. So like, what things are we to work on together, and how are our two student groups supposed to align, but not overcross each other, and not one group feels that they have more power than the other group, and the other group doesn't feel that they have more power, and being able to set that boundary and that line, because that's been extremely difficult.
Okay, so things to kind of work on for you and me today, some ways to communicate with her, maybe how to connect to her just maybe on a surface level so you guys can work through, and then how to make your student groups work together without that tension that you guys face.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think these are pretty manageable and pretty good areas to start. So maybe with communicating, when you have those instances where you feel that she is overstepping her boundaries, pull her aside and say, hey, you know, I appreciate you trying to help out, but these are my students, and I think that you need to respect that and help me maintain authority with them. And maybe if you approach it with I need your help with maintaining my authority, that would be easy for her. So if she could be that reinforcer for you instead of somebody who's opposing what you're saying, that might be a good way to make her still feel involved and like she still has some kind of power, but really it's you and she's just backing you up. How do you feel about that?
I like that because I feel like she feels like a part of her was taken away, and she struggles with being able to, you know, still connect and feel a part and want to be a part of her students too, but they, you know, but when it comes to work and those types of things, and when on the clock, they're reporting to me. And I know she has been working here for a long time, and I know she has a lot, you know, of experience here, but I feel that, you know, I can handle, you know, the job and the work and being able to work with them. I'm not gonna be perfect, but I think she just struggles with having them sort of taken away.
Right, yeah. So yeah, so like if you approach it with you and her are on the same team, and like I said, maybe you aren't, but if it appears to her that way that you guys are, that might help her get through it.